All right, today we are going to be working on breathing. So breathing is very important for movement. Being able to control your breath and use your breath to your advantage is extremely important. So if you don't own your breath, then you don't own your movement. So I'm going to ask you today to try and breathe through your nose. Breathing through your nose is important because it helps with creating some resistance. It keeps the air in your lungs a little bit longer, and so then we can get better gas exchange. It is ideal to breathe through your nose throughout the day as a baseline and while you're moving. It's the most ideal way to breathe, but breathing through your mouth isn't bad, especially if it's part of a practice. So say your yoga practice, you're using your breath, or you're trying to brace or move in a certain way. But in general, we want to breathe through our nose. So we are going to start today with diaphragmatic breathing on our backs. So our diaphragm is a dome-shaped muscle underneath our rib cage, and it's attached to our spine, and it just sits there. And then it works, or should work, with our pelvic floor. So diaphragm is like this. So body's here, diaphragm's like this, pelvic floor is like this. We want them to function together and create the proper amount of pressure in our abdomen as we're moving and just living everyday life. So we're going to start just by lying on our back. We can start with our knees bent. We can put one hand on our rib cage, one hand on our stomach. Here you can see how you feel. You can move your pelvis back and forth so your back feels on the ground. Okay, so we'll start with just a few breaths. So breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. We're thinking about lifting our diaphragm up, so our belly will come up and our rib cage will come out and our back will push into the ground. So we want this 360-degree breath. So think about where your diaphragm is. So it's sitting under there, it's dome shape, and we want it to come down as we breathe in and up as we breathe out. So big breath in and out. Do that a few times. If you notice your chest is moving, try and correct that. If you can't correct it, and you just have to breathe into your chest without breathing into your diaphragm, while you're breathing into your diaphragm, that's fine. Start there, but work towards just breathing into your diaphragm and having little to no movement in the chest. Next, we can lift our legs up. So you can reposition yourself here. We're going to have our knees just over our hips, and we're just going to try to be comfortable here. To start, we don't want to bring our legs into the center, we'll have them out. So knees in line with our ankles and knees in line with our hips. Same thing, we're just going to breathe here. Now we're going to flip over onto our belly. We can put a fist just underneath our head just to make sure that our spine's in neutral. And then here we're going to be thinking about pushing our belly into the ground, out to the side, and then our back to raise. So big breath in and out. In and out, and in, Here we really want to think about our back expand. Then we're going to move on to our side. So we can bend our knees slightly. If you want, you can put a pillow between your knees if you're feeling like you need that. And then we're going to think about pushing our side into the ground or the mat. And we'll flip over to the other side. Big breath in with your nose. And out. And out. Start back. On our back, you can go through this series as many times as you like, and that's what I would stick to as a beginner working on breath. So lying on your back, then bringing your legs up to 90, then going onto your stomach, then onto each of your sides, and I would keep going through that cycle until either I was bored or it was too easy and I didn't have to think about my breath. Then after that, I would move to a quadruped position, so on all fours. So if you don't own that sequence yet, don't move to all fours, just go back onto your back. So here, I'm gonna position myself, and then I'm gonna breathe here. So you can try that out first to see if that's what you'd move to in your next sequence. But here we're gonna just do that cycle again. So onto your back. Remember, in through your nose, we're focusing on keeping our chest still, breathing into your diaphragm in a 360-degree manner. So we want our belly to come out, we want our ribs to come out to the side, we want our low back to push into the ground. So just a few breaths here. And then I'm going to add something in. So it's called box breathing or shape breathing. And so we can start with just a couple of seconds and we can move our way up. So I start with 2 seconds. So you're going to breathe in for 2 seconds. You're going to hold for 2 seconds. Breathe out for 2 seconds. And then you're going to hold after you exhale for 2 seconds. So with that diaphragmatic breathing. So in, 1, 2, hold, out, hold, and then you start again. So in, hold, out, 1, 2, hold, so into, hold, 1, 2, out, 1, 2, hold, 1, 2. If that's too easy, move on to 3 seconds, move on to 4 seconds. So that's controlling your breath. I like to do it in these positions. It might feel different when you move onto your stomach. So breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. Breathe in, 1, 2. Hold, 1, 2, breathe out, and hold. And then you can try it on your side. Breathe in, push that side into the mat. 1, 2. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. 2. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. Now we're going to go to the other side. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. All right, so now you have the basic breathing and hold and shape breathing techniques. So you can use those. So like I said, you want to own, first you want to own breathing on your back into your diaphragm. Then you want to own breathing on your stomach, then on your sides. Then you can move to quadruped. And then something that will also help you tremendously is just being aware of your breath during the day. So do you feel like you're out of breath if you're climbing up the stairs? Do you notice that you're breathing into your chest all day and you're not moving your diaphragm? Or do you notice like that you're breathing through your mouth constantly, maybe even wheezing? Do you notice that you were snoring all night? Well, does your partner notice that you're snoring all night, or that you wake up really groggy? So bringing awareness to that breath is the first step, and then you can start to slowly throughout your day change how you're breathing. That will be most important. Drills are important too, because then we can transfer those skills. But if you think about how much you're breathing, obviously every second of the day, awareness and changing that breath during the day is the most important. So let me know how you liked those drills, and I'm excited for us to move on to the next one.